everyone, and welcome to this rather unusual video for me. It's not my usual kind of thing, but hey, I just thought I'd share it with you. I get asked quite a lot how I do my makeup every day. This is it. This is how I usually get ready and like to look every day when I go to work or popping out. It's very rare I'll actually leave the house without makeup, so instead of trying to explain it, I just thought I'd make a little video and show you how I do what I do. So yeah, if you want to see how I do my makeup every day, then stay tuned. A little bit of a warning, you're about to see my naked face with no makeup on. I'm really sorry, but if you want to see how I get like this, then you need to see the foundations in which I have to work with. So take a deep breath, here we go. So I've already moisturised my face. I use just a really cheap £4 simple skincare moisturiser. I let it soak in for about 5 minutes, and then I start with my primer. I don't really use a primer. What I actually use is this Nivea for Men aftershave or post-shave balm. It's great. It doesn't let your makeup slip off. The second ingredient in it is glycerin. I think I'm saying that right. And I believe you only need the tiniest little bit. I believe that this sort of gives your makeup a base to stick to. So it's just a really good way to give your foundation a good sticky base, really. Smells a bit masculine, but hey, I don't suppose it really matters. So my current everyday foundation that I'm using is a little bit too pale for me at the moment because I've just come back from France. Okay, yes, I know I still look really pale, but I'm using the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer in the colour 0.0, I believe, 0.5. 0.5. I love the application of it. It's so easy. It comes with this little doe foot applicator in it, so you can just go for it and blob it on, and a little bit on my eyelids, and you look like you have leprosy. So the next step, I use a damp beauty blender. This is not an official beauty blender. This is a little copycat one I found in TK Maxx for about £2.99. And you don't drag it on your face, you dab it in. Just like so. And over my eyebrows. Just try not to hit the centre of your eyebrows. And you shouldn't look too crusty. So still using the big end. Now that I'm getting close to the corners of my eyes, I swap ends and I go under like that. Make sure you get right in there, in those creases. And pat it out just to make sure it's all blended. I always forget my nose, the end of my nose, and around my nostrils. Nostrils, that's such a horrible word. Okay. Ah, easy peasy. So your next step, or my next step I should say, I use the Bourjois Radiance Reveal Concealer. Again, I really like this. It's liquid and it has a little doe foot on the end. So I sort of dot it like that. And I don't get too close to this under eye, because if you get too close you can get quite clogged and, I don't know, create that sort of dimply nasty crease that you don't want. So we just go sort of into a little triangle shape like that. A little on my chin, down the middle of my nose, and just a few dots there. Take your damp beauty blender again and just blend that in. Giving yourself a nice little bit of massage. And when you go under your eye, make sure you use a little corner and you get right in there with that concealer and blend it out. So then you've got to act quite quickly. Using your damp beauty blender, I take some translucent powder. This is Lancome, I believe it is just called Translucicide or something like that. And I get the corner of my beauty blender and I get as much powder as I can on there, and I just tap it in there like so. This sets your under eye concealer and it helps to get rid of those creases. So the next step, we need to set the rest of our face. So for this I have been using, but not necessarily loving, this Clinique loose powder, and I tried a little bit of it. This is the colour 20 Invisible Blend. At the counter the lady assured me that it was going to be really good and, you know, completely translucent. It's not. It has a bit of colour in there and it also has a bit of glitter, but I'm feeling like it today. I would usually use the Lancome. So I just tip a little bit into the top of my lid, tap that off and push that in. Just so. And you want to try and avoid this under eye area that you've already set, because you don't want to double up on powder there and make it look really cakey. I'm just getting right in there, avoiding your under eyes, and just bounce that powder in. Blend a little into my neck. Awesome. Okay, so the next step for me is eyebrows. As you can see, I have been blessed with huge bushy eyebrows, but I don't particularly like the shape of them. So I got this brush from, what is it called? Oh, Real Techniques. They're on offer in Boots at the moment, and it had like a little set. So what I use for my brows at the moment is NYX. It's a blonde palette, yeah. It's the blonde palette for eyebrows, but I use the darker colour. I don't like big black slugs on my eyes. No, I do not. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly draw in my brows. I don't brush them, I don't do anything, but what I do is I start in the middle here, where I've got the most powder on. I always tap my brush as well before I go in there, because you don't want big lumps on there, big lumps of product. So I'm starting with the arch, the highest point on my brow bone, and just drag that down really lightly. I don't tend to go back and forth either. I tend to just go one way, away from my centre of my face, just so. And then as I get lower down, my strokes become lighter. So I have a little bit of a weird bald patch going on here, so I like to fill that in, and I just lightly make a new shape down here and flick it up with the square flat side of my brush, just so. And I can see I've not filled in there very well, so I'm just going back over. Wow. So I'll do my other eyebrow now. Fill in that little bald patch. And there, your eyebrows are looking sexy. Okay, now it's time for what is probably my favourite part of doing my makeup every day, is eyeshadow. And I treated myself to a Too Faced palette, the Bonbons chocolate palette. It's so good. The colours are just amazing. They have like really nice matte colours. They have some shimmery ones, metallics, and some crazy purpley pink that I've not bothered to touch yet, but I absolutely love it. So first of all, I need to set my eyebrow area to the crease. So I'm going to take the colour Divinity. I love that it's labelled as well. It makes me sound like I know my colours, but I don't really. It's written on there really tiny. So yeah, it's just a really light, creamy colour. Tap it off and I go in here on my brow bone, underneath my eyebrows. Get lots of colour on there, powder I should say, and set that under eye. It's like a little concealer brush, but you can get them anywhere for like £1. This is a Pro Longwear Paint Pot. It's not officially an eyeshadow primer, but at the MAC counter, if you ask for an eyeshadow primer, this is what they'll give you, and I have to say it's really good. The colour they use on everybody, they told me at the counter, was this Painterly, and it's this sort of weird colour, I don't know. It's kind of skin coloured, but I don't know, it's a little bit darker. It looks quite nice on its own actually. I really hope you can see me. That would be good, wouldn't it? So I just put this on the lid. Just the lid. I don't take it up here to my brow bone. Just the lid. Cute. So next we're going to do the crease. You call it cutting the crease? I don't know why. You're just going to put some eyeshadow on. So you get a really fluffy brush and you take an in-betweeny brown colour, like you don't want to go too dark straight away. So I'm going to use, this is my everyday makeup by the way, this is if I'm just going to work. This one here is called Mocha, and it's just a really nice, the smell of this eyeshadow is awesome. So I'm just going to go in and start blending in that crease. Quite light pressure to begin with, and then going a little bit firmer, pushing into your crease. Tap. And then again on this side. I should have done one side first, shouldn't I? And then shown you how I'd achieved it, but cute. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a darker colour here on this crease, and I'm going for Malted. I wish you could smell this palette, and like when you're putting your eyeshadow on and it falls into your mouth, like the little fallout particles. Okay, so just starting right in this corner here, using the same brush by the way. I do a little sort of dot like that. And on this side too, super light, and instantly that just makes my eyes look more green. I think it does, but what do I know? I'm not even sure what colour my eyes are sometimes. So then really lightly just going back and forth. Pushing right into that crease. I hardly ever actually close my eyes when I'm doing the crease, because you want to be able to see where you're sort of looking at, you know, putting it. If you have your eyes shut, you might end up doing it sort of on your eyebrows or something. Okay, now I'm going to do my eyelid colour, and I always use this really chunky thick brush, and I don't think it's actually supposed to be an eyeshadow brush. I think it's meant to be a concealer brush, but I don't follow the rules. And I'm just going to take this really light Divinity colour again that I used before to set my eyebrow to crease area, and then just go and tap it in. I like this brush because it's rounded. It makes it really easy to like do the shape of your eyelid. I know I'm going to run out of this one. And I'm just going back in with the original brush I used to set my crease and just toning them down a little bit. The way I do my eyeliner, and everybody asks me all the time, how do you get it so perfect? Well, start wearing it when you're 17 and don't stop wearing it, because every time you do it, it gets better. And I always have to look down when I'm doing this, and I just sort of pat it across my line, lash line. And as I get closer into my eye, I just use a very, very point. It's like a felt tip pen almost. So from there, I start and draw my wing here. And trust me, you never get it perfect. They're never exactly the same. Nobody notices. Not once you put your highlight on anyway, they're blinded. And I just draw a little triangle coming in. Like that. And about halfway across my lid is where I bring that line out and join it. Just so. Ta-da! Alright, so we're kind of nearly there. Obviously this is taking a bit longer because I'm talking you through everything. The next thing that I would do is contour. Now, I've only started contouring in the last couple of months, I think. I've really struggled with it. I tried creams, I tried liquids, and finally found powder was the one that worked for me. So I am using the first powder that I bought, and I'm a bit scared to try any other powder yet, just because I've kind of got this to work, so I don't really want to start spending money on stuff that may not work. So this is the Kate Moss Rimmel London contour palette, and it comes with a highlight, contour and blush. And I did use these three just to get used to sort of playing with it. And yeah, kind of got it to work. And I changed brushes, all sorts. Anyway, so the brush I settled on was this Eco Tools one, and it's kind of like an angled brush, as you can see. It's kind of longer at one end, but it just seems to work. And instead of going back and forth in your palette, just literally a couple of swipes like that. Tap, okay? And you want to go from where your ear is to sort of in line with the corner of your eye, no further. And you don't want to blend down, you want to blend up. But this is things I've learned, so. And watch me do it wrong. Here we go. So that is from 2 little swipes. And you can see it's already starting to do something. Another swipe, just one this time, tap. And you can see I'm blending upwards. I am not blending down. And if you feel like it's a bit too dark, you can always go in with your powder brush that you used earlier to set and just calm it down again. But I'm quite happy with that. 2 swipes. Okay, we have beautiful contour. So now it's time for me to do a little bit of blush. Ooh, we're nearly there. So I have this lovely blush palette with 4 colours in that I found in TK Maxx for $7.99. Tarina Tarantino, never heard of her, but it has these lovely pinky blushes. There's like a peachy one, a pale peach one, and these crazy Barbie pink ones. So I've kind of been going between these two and these two. I don't know. It depends on the day, and I think I'm looking quite tanned today, so I'm gonna go for this peachy one. Just a few taps in there, and I'm using the same brush that I contoured with, and I'm just sort of working my way in and upwards away from the center of my face. I'm not gonna say this blush is great. Like, I think it's quite heavy powder, but I like having the options. And I just kill it down again with my setting brush, setting powder brush. God, why can't I talk? It's because I've never done a makeup video before, that's why. Okay, so my next job is to do my under eye. I don't know why I do things in this order, but I do. So you remember we baked that under eye earlier. You can get rid of that now. So I'll just take another clean brush. I like this one because it's square and very flat, and it's good for getting in there. And just brush that away so it's not so cakey and powdery anymore. So I'm going to go back in with my Bonbon palette, and I'm just going to use this almond truffle colour here just to put a little bit of colour under my eyes. I don't like, I used to put like really dark brown under my eyes, but I just sort of feel with the liquid liner it just looks a little bit too Egyptian. So I just like to sort of match that shadiness underneath, like so. Sometimes I will just put a little bit of a darker colour in the corner, so I'm just picking up a piece of the Bordeaux, tiny little tap, and just putting that in the very corners here. I love this fluffy brush. Cute. So the very last thing before I do my mascara is to do my highlight, and I searched high and low for this highlight. It was out of stock forever, but I finally got one. It is the Illamasqua Beyond Powder, and I got the colour OMG. It is the most golden, gorgeous, beautiful highlight. Look at that. Ugh. Excuse my mirror. So I take a nice fan brush, sweep it across. To me, you cannot put enough too much highlight. No such thing. So on the top of my cheekbone, under my eyes, I just sort of wiggle it across and blend that in. I don't know why everybody reacts the same way as each other for highlight, but I just love it. You get plenty. And the same on the other side. Again, try and do your highlight in natural light. You should always do your makeup in natural light, but lovely cheekbones. And I love to highlight the tip of my nose, but I find doing a brush doesn't quite deliver as much as I want. It's there, but it's not quite, so I just take a little tiny bit on my finger and pat that in, just on the tip. Your final little bit of highlighting that you have to do is your top lip. Cupid's bow. Just like that. Now for lips, my current favourite that I'm using is a liquid lipstick, and everybody's raving about liquid lipsticks, and yeah, they're pretty good. Just don't put them on in the car while your husband's driving, otherwise you look really bad. This is Matte Me by Sleek in the colour Shabby Chic, and honestly, it is so good, it just suits everyone. The great thing about liquid lips is you can slightly overdraw and get away with it. liquid lipstick is what I meant. But this is truly matte. Like, it looks like you've just gone to B&Q and kissed a paint pot. So if you want a bit of gloss on there, be my guest, but I don't like gloss. It's so thick. Ugh. I'm constantly having to wipe product off this dough foot. So I just popped some mascara on and looking good. The sun's a bit bright. Ooh, there. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my daily makeup routine. I know it's a long time, but hey, I like makeup, so I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!